Hi, my name is Silo Timba, CBD, and I'm not alone. Welcome back to the Deeply Rooted Show. Uh, do you know that Radio DR is 3 years old, sir? Radio DR turned 3 on Friday. I also turned 31. It was cool, man. I'm not alone. Hold up. Woman, I'm on the podcast. Woman, I'm on the podcast. What do you want?
Oh, well, it's fine. I'll just talk to you when I get back.
Okay, cool. Bye, woman.
Bye.
So I took the woman out. Well, actually, she took me out this weekend. She took me to like the Midlands.
Great.
Had a thing, you know.
Love that.
Oh, all love, all love. And yourself, sir. Can you introduce yourself to the people?
Oh, hi. Igama lami uSibongiseni Mkhize.
Yeah.
Just umjita nje from elokishini.
Liphi lokishi?
In an area called Emerin Hill.
Yeah.
Ngakuphayindane.
Pinedale.
Yeah, if you know the Pinetown area.
Okay.
Khona indawo kuthiwa Emerin Hill lapho.
Yeah.
Khona boNdengezi, khona boDesai, khona bo Cloudwater, Santi,
Sharako Santi. Sharako Mary. Yeah.
Yeah, khona indawo kuthiwa iseLuganda lapho. Just a small area nje icashile.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
I've
from.
never heard of that one. What's it called?
In Luganda.
Ilugand.
Yeah.
I've heard of a Clearwater.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
but
know it's
Icashile,
It's very
yeah.
hidden, so we need to put it with spotlights.
You're
Yeah,
putting
so
it on the spotlight, sir. We're
Ah,
doing big things. Can you tell the people what you do? What a little boy from that hidden place that people don't know about Etegwini or just outside of Durban does for a living?
I think most of my life I've been a radio producer.
Yeah.
For Iskata Sningi. That's what I do. I just got introduced into radio and I fell in love with that medium space. So that's where I've been there. But more than anything, I like the entertainment industry as a whole.
Yeah.
But in most cases, ngisagxile kakhulu on the radio side.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to navigate around the area and see how can
But
I go
I
about.
found valid just the entertainment industry. Once you actually peek your head into it, it's so huge.
It's huge,
So
huge,
like
huge.
anywhere you enter from you. It's just a door. So your door was radio. What was it about
Yes.
radio that made you want to say this is I like the entertainment because you like the entertainment
100%,
industry.
yeah.
But what was it about radio that made you be like, nah, this is my entertainment industry space?
Look, I've always been a fan. Ne?
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of the radio industry. Grew up listening to radio stations, obviously like Abo Kozi. I would listen to a Metro FM. Would listen to a Kakasi. And I was like, okay, cool. That's a good space to be.
What
in.
shows were you pivotal? Like radio shows were pivotal.
Oh man, I think if you are a KZN person, kulele lokshin ngakulu, you know what you've listened to Elinda Sbiya doing a drive time show back in the days, you've listened to a couple of shows, Kona even Okozini with Abos Komeza, and then when Nikakasi came in 2000, yeah, just after P4, so Nikakasi kicked in, bekukhona abo King's Fiso lapha benza
Shout out King's
ama-ada.
Fiso,
Yo,
an honorable
man.
gent.
My man. My man. So bekukhona abo King's Fiso lapha, they were killing it. Bekukhona abo China man at that time.
Yeah.
There was abo Sindo, nabo Tira.
Oh shit, Kanye, it was big, hey.
Yo, my man, they came in
Yo,
hard.
dude, like
Yo.
I really understand why, like, because I find myself, I always have a soft spot for Kakasi FM, like,
100%.
it's like
yeah.
it's just I think it was just so pivotal in like Sikula. As a youth, as a Tegwin today, you would see
It's played a huge role. It's played a huge role at any Ilentos, shine no music like KZN
Yeah.
to the entire country. Because I would really say people like Abo Tera and Abo Sox started blowing up when their music started pumping. Kakule Kakas, Abo Chinaman, their music started pumping up when they were working there.
Yeah.
Abo Sindo, Abo
Testament to how
Evolve.
great they were because they were so young and this information about the industry wasn't out there. But if you look at all their actions today, you understand that they had a vast knowledge of of the entertainment industry, these people that you're speaking about, like who are still doing it today, you know,
Till
like,
this day,
till this day, like you
they
know.
were very hungry. I think that's what we're probably missing nowadays. These guys were very hungry, and they were united.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, they were united. Like they were buddies. They were peers. I was watching actually a video, a Big Nas,
yeah,
just yesterday, and I was seeing in one of the songs, Big Nas was shoot Ibilentoza lapha, and then they had people like about DJ Bongs coming in. He wasn't even featured, kuyo ningoma, but he was part of the video, you know.
yeah.
So guys were supporting each other. They were unity. That's why they were that strong. That's why they were such a force. Because I don't think we've had that after them. After Tira, after Socks, after DJ Bongs, after Sindo, after El Vovo, after Professor.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. Where are the stars? Where are the Deppen stars?
Exactly. And this is where me and you come in as content creators. Is like where, because it's like there was that Joburg machine that used to exist, which is what they kind of fought. These people that you speak about now, El Vovo, Data.
Yeah.
Now, where is the next generation of that? And I want to thank you for coming on to the show, because we starting this uniting thing. It's like, I don't know this guy. I met him in the car park of my house, but you know, he knows that he's putting out his hand to help out me as a content creator make content, to the point where he even sent me a list of things to talk about. So I'm very interested about it, because like it was like, oh, thank God, I don't have to think about this show. I want to just get into that stuff, man. Like, what's on your mind? So cancel culture, number one. I think cancel culture is just mob mentality in the new age.
100%. And I think I remember watching this one interview with Trevor Noah, and he asked the question, where do all these cancelled people go to? If you cancel people, where do they go to?
Yeah.
They're still within the society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How are you correcting people if your best way of solving a problem is taking isinkwas up? Are you really trying to correct people, or you just want, or is it jealousy even?
My biggest thing is that the same people call themselves Christians, and one of the core messages of Christianity, because I was like birthed in it, you know, so is like, don't judge others, only God can judge. And in order for you to cancel, don't you have to judge?
100%. That's exactly what you do.
So why? So you know, like, I feel like, and to what point? Like, because the way cancel culture has gotten so bad, like, somebody says something you don't like, you're gonna get them fired. You don't know this person. You don't know how many families they're taking care of, and you wanna go get them fired.
I think it's mostly driven by just jealousy. It's not even about the person or what they said or whatever the case is. And we need to correct people. I'm not saying that this whole thing is wrong. I think this was a good idea. You know,
that's
not
social,
to necessarily
that's
cancel.
social, like, because there is like social justice.
Yes.
Social, but I think, like anything, started, like, you look at, I'll give you an example, a random example. Look at rap, how it started so beautiful. Poetry, talking about the message.
Yeah.
And then it becomes popular for that. Then people say, hey, I can jump in a song and go, jump in a song and go, jump in a song. And 30 years later, more and more of those people are no longer saying anything. They're jumping in a song and going, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, now you can say hip hop is dead. Now your industry has accepted all of those people and has stopped messaging through music, in a sense, now, because more and more of those people not saying anything were given a chance to speak, you know. So I feel the same thing happened with cancel culture. It's a good reform. It started off great.
Yes.
Hey, you will not come in and use society to better your will or avoid justice. Great. But like everything, it needs to be controlled, and nothing can control itself.
100%. So it needs to be controlled. That's why I'm saying it was a good idea, because people should take responsibilities for their action.
Yeah.
That should happen.
Yeah.
So no one is saying that umuntu against something and angayithatha accountability. Everyone must take accountability for their actions.
Sure.
That is fine. So no one is against that. Kodwa this cancel culture thing is more isiphumile ekutheni abantu bathathe accountability. It's more of how it's more of like jealousy of some sort. It's mostly driven by jealousy, man.
Yeah.
And then there's things of mean I'm gonna have a problem with you.
Yeah.
So since now I have a problem with you, I can just try and find something, into encane nje, and then make it look so
Mobilize
bad.
people.
Yeah.
Mobilize people too. Because another thing is like, when you start a canceling campaign can be started by just mobilizing a bunch of people that don't like you, especially if you're a public
Yes.
public figure. Every president has a hater. Not even going into celebrities, like every president in the world has a group of the population that doesn't like them.
100%.
So if you can mobilize those people by psychologically tricking them into a message or
Ukuthi hayi lo muntu uyaphetha, is a
Yeah.
bad person. Yeah,
because even good and bad, again, you have to judge.
it's relative. Yeah.
And you have to judge. Like, are you good? Are you a judge? Can you judge? Are you a person applied by the population to judge, or put on by the population to judge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So cancel culture, social media. You want to talk about social media as well?
Well, goes hand in hand, obviously, you know. Also, social media, I think it's also was one of those great tools
Yeah.
that were provided to us. You know, it's much easier reaching out. You know, social media has done a lot of good things for me.
Yeah.
I remember at one point, I actually reached out to his paying names via Twitter. You know, I was like, yo, I'm here in Durban. I can rock that show.
Yeah.
That was just my tweet.
Yeah.
Come on, years ago. And then his pay replied, I was like, oh, pity you in Durban.
Yeah.
But, you know, we could have probably tried to meet up, whatever the case is.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit. That wasn't
This
even...
social media thing actually
Yeah,
works.
it
It's put
works,
me in a
yeah.
position where I've skipped managers and booking agents
You know,
and
exactly.
friends, and I've gone directly to the source.
straight to the person, you know what I mean? So, and I didn't even expect a reply. But when I got the reply, changed everything. Because
Yeah.
like, oh, flip, okay.
How did you feel?
I was never... well, I wasn't expecting. That's the thing. I
You
wasn't
just put your
expecting.
shot out into
Yeah,
the
I'm
universe.
just throwing it
and the
out there.
universe,
Like, yeah, I'm just throwing it out there, and then the person replies, and it's like, oh, flip, okay, cool. And then I sat down. I was like, okay, what do I say now? Because, you know, what I say next could either make or break what I'm trying to build. So I need to be very careful. So I just sat down. I saw the reply, sat down,
relax, of course.
got relax.
Chill.
It's like, what am I going to say now? Just let it find out. Imagine like you bump into a girl,
Yeah.
and then you're like, yo, I like you. And then she's like, yo, I like you back. And you are like, you are still expecting it. Oh shit, this person's gonna make me chase, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Still gonna chase her, but now she's like, yo, I like you back. What do you say now?
Yeah, I guess because the first step, it wasn't supposed to be this easy. Like it wasn't supposed to be this, but it is. And then so what happens after that? Like,
No, obviously after that, I obviously replied. I was like, yo, I'm coming to Joburg. I wasn't even coming to Joburg. I made that shit up. I was like, yo, anyway, I'm coming to Joburg, so we can make this thing work.
you make your own reality, my G.
Yeah, I was like, anyway, I'm coming to Joburg, so we can make it work regardless, you know?
Yeah.
And then I got to Lagal, went straight to the DM. I was like, please send me your email. Tati email. And I'm saying there. Fortunately, Vele, when I sent him my stuff, I had already started participating. I was a contributor there from 2011.
So you weren't really faking it. You were kind of like, yeah, I can see this thing. I've seen it being done on the large scale. Because here's what I always tell people. Like in the entertainment industry, but until you sit there until people who work there notice you and register you as a person that works in the industry or as a kid that's willing to learn in the industry, nobody's going to take you seriously. So you had gone in, seen the machine, because also you studied the machine in your own case, and however, just listening to radio, you understood it. So you looked at it from an outside point of view, then you saw it from the machine from the inside.
Yes.
But also, okay, now I fully understand this thing. I can do it anywhere.
Well, not fully, but I'm there, you know.
Yeah, I mean, okay, maybe not fully, but like as an intern, you think you fully. But I think it is a fully understanding, though. It's because I mean, the detail gets filled in, but you understand
I
the
get
whole
you.
ball.
Yeah, yes,
The
yes.
whole
Once you
ball.
get the
you know where you are in the space of it all.
yeah, so once you get to understand like the ground and the basics of it,
Yeah.
it's much easier. So already I had that scale. Would say, I already have this going, so let me reach out to these guys,
Yeah.
and just see. So after participating or after contributing or causing, I was like, okay, here's an opportunity for me to grow. Let me just reach out to these guys and see how can we go about
Yeah.
acting spanning now, So I wasn't employed by, because it was just me putting my hustle and what's not. I wasn't employed by Metro FM. It was just me also putting my hustle out there. And
But
just,
you got that on your CV. You
100%,
understand what you were doing.
So yabo yonke leyo nto leyo, it led to me getting a job at Gagas.
because you kind of manufactured your CV. You saw what you were doing.
That's exactly
you
it.
were okay, if I can fully get an access card even for the day and do something with them, I can say I worked for them.
I did something, which I did. I'm
Exactly.
not even making it up.
I'll tell you what, funny story. Like I worked with DJ Lab from Gagasi FM really closely, and he's just like, Sila, we got this thing coming, we got this thing. Next thing I know, I'm editing, directing. I'm 22. I'm editing, directing, and shooting a documentary series for ETV. I'm like, okay, I've never done. You know how to do it, but you've never done it before.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't fuck this up.
No ways, because that's your opportunity. That's your chance.
Exactly. So yeah.
So yeah, with me it was also the same case. What's your, because exactly what I just said, Manju. All those steps led to me getting a job at Gagas, because when I sent my CV to them, they were like, "Oh, this person has done A and B, a cuisine. This person has done A and B, a metro. There's something there. We need to really jump into this guy, because there's something there."
Yeah. Okay. How old are you, brother?
I'm 30.
30.
Yeah.
I just turned 31. I'm older than you, bitch.
I'm going. No, that's where I'm going.
31 this year.
Yeah.
So we're born the same year. 91 baby.
90.
Starting to happen.
In what way?
So if it, I think it was Sweden. I'm not sure. Could be the other one.
Yeah.
Turned off the FM signal, like
Yeah,
how we how we listen to radio. Like
Yeah.
it's like, nah, we're moving on to the internet, and we're on the internet. I
Sure.
think this is a form of radio. So how do you
Definitely
feel
is.
about radio's influence on society today?
It's huge, and it's been huge for years. It's not only actually just even radio, it's television, it's what we see on the entertainment industry, what we watch, it's what we listen to, it's what we read, also even in social media, the influence part. So but mina base radio, because that's where I'm based,
Yeah.
So I'm very big on that, Ogoti, this platform that we've been given, I watched an interview at Breakfast Club, Abekuluma no Monique, and he said something, when you open up these microphones, you influence the entire society.
Yeah.
And that's what exactly it is,
That's absolutely correct. I mean, I look at Jordan Peterson's influence on the men around me.
Yes, yeah.
And that's a form of radio. Yes, he's not going to individual radio stations around the world preaching his message. He's preaching his message at every interview, at every lecture, and I know, like I said, every popular person has haters, but every time I've looked at Joe Rogan haters, every time I've looked at Jordan Peterson haters, it's people that actually have not sat there and listened to hours of his content.
100%.
So you a lot of people are arguing with that fact, and again, that's going back to social media. Like umuntu phatheka masumtshela ukuthi wrong, and engas at the same time. So I mean, like, just because you're always right around your friends, maybe that's the problem.
I don't know, maybe things like what? Emotional intelligence. If you don't have that, then you'll argue
I think
over
a lot
it.
of people don't have emotional intelligence.
Yeah, I think our, not even society, this generation is just we don't have much of that. And that includes even probably a person like myself, I don't think we have enough of that. I don't think we understand in Teranjal. We just look at someone and then we judge by what we see. We don't want to get deeper into understanding and see where did whatever it is came from or whatever the case is.
You know, though, it's. I won't lie. There's a way we're conditioned to think, and it is through, like you said, radio media. And the thing about media is you get to choose what you consume.
Yeah.
So you can only blame it to a certain extent, because why are you watching an episode of reality once a day
Also, look,
for 5 hours a day?
there's also, especially for our people, especially in this country, abanye abantu abaningi, they use different modes of transport. They use a taxi, for example, and a taxi could be playing a radio. You're not choosing you are listening to what's playing there, and it could be a kid there who's listening to a certain topic, or who has this certain guest, talking about whatever it is, So you are planting something while you are talking on radio. So it's not a matter of ukuthi they had to pick and choose or whatever the case is. Also, even if you are driving your kid to school or whatever the case is, in most cases people do not play the USBs or whatever the case is, bavuli radio in most cases,
Most
just
cases.
to understand what is going on.
I turned that radio off. Some of you guys' presents. We'll get to that. We'll get to the state of radio in a bit, but carry on.
But in most cases, people will drive their kids to school and they'll be listening to your radio. Also, it's a safe space because there's no one swearing there. There's no music on it, or whatever the case is.
Most def.
Yeah. So you want to bring your kid. And when that happens, maybe you have a certain topic, and then this topic could be an influence to the kid because it's listening.
Have you sat with anybody? Have you sat with a bunch of people that take more than 10 international flights a year? Do you hang out with people like that?
10 international
flights a year. Somebody who you can say takes more than 10 international flights a year.
I know some, but I wouldn't say I hang out because I don't really even hang out with a lot of people.
Okay, I say that because I was trying to find somebody who I think in normal society kind of lives in 10 years from now. And those people would have iPhones, would have I say that because a person who takes 10 international flights a year is going to need to have everything works, and they obviously work at a level where they can afford everything. So I say that. So a person like that, maybe I'd say 3 in 7 listen to radio, maybe. And this is guessing. We've never really studied because I don't even know that many people that take that many. So I'm guessing from about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
They're now listening to podcasts, and a lot of them they also have now stopped watching CNN. So I'm trying to get to traditional media, including radio, including television, is losing its grip on society. What do you describe as a person inside the industry? How do you describe the state of radio right now?
I always hear a lot of people.
Because those people don't listen to radio, but majority of them, I know them.
Do you also understand, Utsi, what we're doing now? A podcast is a form of radio.
We did cover that.
Yeah, this is like a baby.
I'll agree with you there because I was getting to that point, is that they're listening to podcasts. So now, how long do you think radio holds on before the podcast machine totally gives it a fucking sledgehammer smack on the side?
Once you go live. If you don't go live, I don't think you will get to that point because you want to listen to what's happening now. A podcast is something that you say, oh, cool, ngizophinda a bit later on. So up until podcasts get to that stage where it's it's happening now, and you can tune into it now and maybe talk to the person if that is available, because that's what radio has. In a little upper end where I can call in and talk to the broadcaster or whatever the case is if they have a topic, and that is what keeping people mostly cool and beyilaleli rate.
Sure.
It's that interaction, with that live engagement with the presenter, or whatever the case is. And podcast doesn't have many of those. It could be a podcast like the audience corner. It's cool. It's just those few kind of people or gunamalento, like. But up until they have that ability of going live, where someone can even listen while driving, or someone can listen, or while, because I know in most cases abanye they do go live, while on maybe on YouTube, whatever the case is.
No, I see
But
you
you
because
cannot engage.
You know what it is? Sometimes some people just don't know what to pick. They don't know what to listen to, and so they know that you're picking for them, and that is the element of life, the appeal of life to a lot of people. It's like, I know this channel is always streaming stuff
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
like, or stuff that I want to get into. So,
Sure.
you know, I totally get that. So my next question to you is, if you're gonna help me go live.
That would mean I want to self-sabotage, because manje ngizobe sengibulala le medium le ngikuyona.
You know, are you into crypto?
No, I need to
You
still learn more about that.
crypto.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's like nearly 12,000 coins, and there's this thing like how all these 12,000 different software is gonna speak to each other, and so there's something called bridge software. So you, my friend, are a bridge. You know, like if you look at television, there's a bridge from television to streaming services. Like all of the top talent is going. So some of the Netflix. Amazon yaqasha lapha eCape Town. Like easy. Hey, abantu apply LinkedIn ngathi ngitshela ngalutho. So entertainment industry, sir, what do you want to say about the entertainment industry?
The entertainment industry, I remember we spoke a little about that, not today, Gulapaya, and I think I ended up mentioning in Tenjing, I would say there's a Nigerian entertainment industry, Nigerian, and then there's a South African entertainment industry. So I've been looking at the two, and at this point, Nigeria is way ahead of us.
Nigeria put in money into the entertainment industry a decade or two ago, and they're now reaping the benefits. Because I was intrigued to know that MTV Base is really a Nigerian business deal, essentially. So that's why a bridge for, because if it was so shocking to South African culture at the time that they were being stuff. I remember my cousin who I lived with a bit, Nigerian music, and I was like, which was the reverberation about. But if you put stuff inside and around people enough, they'll kill their biases and actually learn to enjoy it. You know. Yeah, well.
But also, I think it's what also we do. Like, say we are. A bit
definitely.
We are a bit more relaxed here. You know, we are comfortable. We don't want to leave. Like, say because it's just comfortable being here.
It's. I think it's fear.
It is definitely.
We're
it
scared
is.
of not being number one, and it's like, whatever. Are you really number one when you're number one at home?
Also, you're scared. Oh, yo, man, I've got this comforts that I have. I don't have. You know, what am I gonna do? So I'm managing get job back. What if this doesn't work out and I'm left in the cold or whatever the case is? You know.
Yeah.
So we are too comfortable.
And you're speaking like that, and I'm a Durbanite. I had to go through every step of that. Like, where's up? Starting like being in front of the camera was a fear. It's like, we are sub. It's like, how long are you gonna be scared to just do the ideas that you want to do? Because here's one thing about ideas: you're gonna have to do them for the first 5 years of anything until you can hire people. So if you're saying you wanna build bicycles, you're gonna have to learn how to actually build a bicycle. Like there's this thing, an idea that we have is one was money because the bank's not gonna give it to you. You're black.
Yeah. Wow.
And then like who's gonna do it without money? So you have to learn to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You have to kind
No,
of
like people will find you along the way. Yeah. You start small, and then it will eventually grow.
Yeah, my
but
G.
but Masakuluma Durban about being comfortable and what's not. It's not just in Durban, also it's South Africa. People here are comfortable. No one is leaving, or very few people are.
Well,
leaving.
I think there's two sides of South Africa, and the two sides don't understand each other. There's the people that are okay, and they're like, why don't you guys that are poor work harder to be okay? And then there's the rich people, and they're like, why don't you guys be like the guys that weren't okay and be okay? And I've given you guys my taxes. Why am I? So already everybody's like shifting. Everybody at every sphere of this economic like field is shifting the blame to the person in the other field. So
100%,
the middle are shifting it to the bottom, the top are shifting it to the middle and the bottom, and then everybody's just like, yeah, boy. And every now and again, the different two will gang up on the one. So until everybody in South Africa realizes that like essentially no crime is gonna go away until money goes to poor people, rich people. So until poor people can eat, there's going to be crime. So why don't you just solve it long term and we organize and get societal things that feed people? One, because crime is hunger. But
who's going to solve if I'm not affected by that? So why am I gonna be solving?
No, but you are. Like you saying you're not affected by a lot of people think they can buy their way out of the problems of South Africa, which is not a problem. You can walk out of your house and get hijacked anywhere in South Africa.
Then you should go to the government, make the rules and what's not.
Already, you see now we are the government because we elect the government. So now we're saying the government must, instead of like, what are you doing to help the government? Essentially, it's because the government is obviously failing. So what are we doing as the individual to? I'm easy. Me and you are easy. We picked radio. Our goal is to go in. We picked media. So our goal is to go in, and when I'm editing a scene and I feel like the scene is gonna don't rely on the church and I chop a line, and I'm like, yeah.
Do that?
I mean, with great power comes great responsibility,
100%.
right? So
No, I totally get that, and that what you just said now goes back to exactly what we said. What I was talking about earlier about the platform that we have in feeding society.
Yeah,
because that's the reality. One can have that and be like, yo, man, what is this message going to send to a young kid? And I'm like, maybe I don't want to have this part going in
don't say it like this.
Or let me just...
Make sure you use this word.
Or let me just chop out this audio because I wouldn't want kids to have this certain narrative or this kind of thinking, whatever the case is,
Anybody could be listening.
Anyone could be listening. So, yeah, no, I get that. But, yeah, just to go back again, I was saying there's a Nigerian entertainment industry which is really booming. I think Sankotli was this Nigerian artist who just had ingoma yakhe ithi Peru or something with Ed Sheeran. It's a huge song. It's a huge song.
I think is it not Wiz Khalifa? Not Wiz Khalifa. Who the fuck Wiz?
No, it's some Nigerian artist.
Let's go with Ed Sheeran.
Peru is the name of the song.
Nigerian artist.
No, just say Ed
I can't spell it. It's probably
it's Peru.
It's Fireboy DML.
100%.
And Ed Sheeran. Shout out Fireboy DML doing a big
song.
Collect.
International. So here's my thing here. When are we getting to that stage as South Africans? Because we are talented. Okay, cool. Yeah, those are the two names that came in mind.
I know. And I'm going hard here. I'm looking for the third one.
No, there's no third one. Yeah. You're done.
Look. The biggest problem in South Africa is that we don't love ourselves. That means we don't love our up-and-coming artists because you have to have a love. You have to have a full love for yourself to love thy country, to love thy full human being.
I don't think it's even mostly that in that.
No. I'm getting to the root cause because I don't want too many variables. I want the root cause that we can all solve because do you not agree with me? It's more tanda. You realize the person next to you now, so you're not gonna harm them.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So that's what we turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. So then you're gonna realize that your country needs love, that your work colleagues need love, and that's what I say, Guti. People don't love themselves enough to love the next person. That is
Okay.
the root cause of South Africa's problem with loving the up and coming artists, because now the reason why they love a big artist is because they want to get close to the big artist to
Yeah.
show their friends that they're close to the big
Yes,
artist, and
yes,
that I'm
yes, yes.
better than you, friend. Look at what I'm doing. I live a better life than you. That is the current average of the South African.
Okay, so there's that, and then there's these other two things we spoke about earlier. Hunger.
Yeah.
How much hunger do South African artists have? I must say, what they do, like they do. But
No, they
is
don't.
Is it enough?
I was talking. I'm not going to name any names, but they know who they are, and they're probably not listening anyway. But the artists are walking around calling themselves artists, and they come to live gigs and they don't even earn a microphone as an artist. I've been in music for 6 months and I have a guitar. I'm a disgusting artist. You guys come to shows and expect it's just, if you care about your craft, you'd make sure that the thing coming from your microphone going to the speakers is as controlled by you as possible. If you love yourself and love what you do and love your art, so you see,
invest in it, yeah.
You invested it. You are crying right now, and I'm telling you, like, I probably should too. And I'm like, yes, at least some of them will come in and look at my stuff and be like, oh, nice. I'm like, you don't have a computer to just make beats, to write songs, even if it's not the final beat. I get you. There's no hunger, my friend. You guys are not hungry. You guys are lazy.
Yeah, no, there's not much hunger. I wouldn't necessarily say there's no hunger at all. I would say
a few people have hunger.
Yeah, a few, and we can see, like a Black Coffee, we can tell. And I'm not just saying this because he just won a Grammy. I've been following.
I mean, you just won a Grammy.
I've been following what he's been doing since the time Besa Lentosa Naboshana here in Durban and then moving to Joburg and what's not. He's always had that goal, at some point I want to get here. And that's to see he had that vision at Trevor Noah. And I'm saying this because I've watched Ama interviews up. Yeah, no, I know. Sure. I know these people. And I have those three names. Obviously, there's also Abo Tusumbe, there's Abo Numzamumbata.
Yeah, we haven't even gone into that part. Abo Leleti Kumalo.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? So, but Yabo would say, if you were to count, or like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know what I mean? And that's probably just 8. And then maybe got again umuntu can be a bit lenient because South Africa, I'm claiming about 50, how many million? How many?
I think it was 55 last I checked. We were waiting for the next census to tell.
Yeah, whatever. And then Nigeria also is probably like double what we have. So
about
we
60.
can. Nigeria has a lot of people. But we can be a bit lenient in terms of what's okay. We do have 5 people, maybe Nigeria has 10 people because very population.
Oh, fuck. Nigeria's got 215 people.
100%.
Oh my gosh. I don't know where that 60
and we have 50, 60, whatever the case is. But see,
Jesus fucking Christ.
That's a lot of
But
people.
again, like, it's kind of like that's why their music moves like, like advertising. Our media works around the advertising industry because it's like you've got eyeballs. We're trying to sell people stuff. So when you have a population of Nigerians that's 200 million, you get an American effect when you have a hit that every single Nigerian identifies with. Because even if all of those 200 million people know somebody that likes that song, man, no matter where you are in the world, and that's a big song. So
that's why my views are so crazy.
They're crazy, dog.
Like my views they like 15, 10 million is nothing.
And maybe shout out to AKA who really tried to push a Nigerian thing like type of thing. So it's like that collaboration and everything, and that's because Ekoli Valley collaboration. I see like the next topic is the Durban artists and the non-collaboration, which I've seen in some corners is starting to shift, but generally I'd say the baseline is that Durban creatives don't collaborate, and
we don't. Because look
why?
at this.
Why?
There's you who's doing what you're doing here, and then there's also me who's doing what I'm doing there.
Yeah.
But you and I do the same thing. But you do what you do in your little corner, and I'll do what
It's
I'm
what I
doing
was
in the
literally
local.
saying before the fucking podcast. Is
Yes,
that, like, we can't
exactly.
keep be standing in each other's corners.
Exactly.
We need to.
So that is
yeah.
why there's no growth. Also, it goes back to the conversation we had a bit earlier on. Ukuthi, when Abo Tira, Abo Socks, Abo Bongs, Abo Sindo all came up, Abo Chinamen, bebehlangene bekanje. That's why they were forced and they were just
I need to
unstoppable.
get Chinaman on the show. I'm gonna call Chinaman after this.
Those guys were just unstoppable because they worked together. They supported each other.
Yeah.
Gigs, music, and they just collaborated. And that's why I was even saying, we haven't seen that after them. There hasn't been a DJ that will go as far as a Bongs did, Ebanama number ones, Ebanama summer awards. When last did we have a Durban artist winning like a summer award?
I mean,
Okay.
I think
Take out
there
about six,
wasn't.
Nabo Banban.
You see now the problem.
new generation.
The problem is we need a bridge. We need a bridge from the old generation because through our work we bump into these people, but we never really get time to conversate with these people, to get into their minds, to go indlela efunda kwabaphambili.
Yeah.
So we not need to be proactive as the youth. We need to be hungry enough because that's the seed that puts you on the seat is your hunger to grow and make your own pie. That like Utira did, that Uzex did, that Ubanbani did,
yeah.
and make your own slice of that cake. So that we need to do it at a large scale. You need to be sitting down in the rooms with brands. You need to be sitting down in the rooms with labels. You need to be sitting down in the rooms with superstars and making things happen.
Yeah, but also in most cases, you can just learn from a person from afar. You don't even have to come closer to him. You can just watch my moves. Like you can read the interviews or watch the interviews or whatever, and you get the thinking. You don't have to get closer.
Podcasts.
There's a lot of interviews, there's podcasts, there's whatever that you can learn from. It's okay, this is how these guys did it.
Yeah, 100% correct.
Because at the end of the day, they did it right in front of us. So we can't really say, hey, there hasn't been
and
that
even
much
worse,
or whatever.
Even worse is that our brothers and sisters, our older brothers and sisters, cousins and uncles, were part of so they'll tell you.
Yes,
they'll tell you right now. Oh, we were there. Us kid would have a party there.
Yes.
House party socks.
Yes.
So
exactly.
You know those stories.
Exactly. So we really know. We just, what's in I don't.
No, you're 100% correct.
I think we just cool, which is not cool.
It's not cool at all. I think
we're just too cool.
Turning 31, I realize I'm not cool with being cool anymore. It's I'm old now and I want a house and I need lots of money, so I need to be doing lots of things.
And that's the thing. Also, I'm glad you just mentioned that. So why do we not have flipping houses at our age? These guys had all of that. They had the cars, they had the houses.
Well, we have to go into inflation. I mean, we're making more money than our parents did when they were our age. So
yeah, exactly.
But I guess these are the final topic: the state of leadership in the country. How did my pivoting go from your topic to topic? I've really been working on that. I think I did a great job.
No, we did. No, we did. I think also the topic leads up or it touch out to what we've.
Did you do it on purpose? Because it was so easy.
No, not really. No, it was just one of those things. I guess I was like, I'd like to chat about this and this and that.
Hey, the flow I am. It's like flow and
But it goes back again to emotional intelligence in most cases with our leadership. I don't think we have enough of that in leading people. If we are not going to gain something from that person or whatever the case is, you would rather let the quality. Let's say when you are an employee and I'm your leader, I'm your manager, whatever the case is, and because you are not my favorite, I think we lack a lot of that from people in positions that rather be personal than be emotional intelligent about a situation, that rather overlook the quality of the product and gun for the person just because I don't maybe necessarily like that person or whatever the case is. So I think we lack a lot of that. and also people who are for the people who want to do something for the people, not for themselves, not ukuthi ba-benefite bona. And I think that's just been the case since freedom. We've had very little leaders who are for the people.
Well, naturally, if I was, leaving a country where the people are starting to be like, let's dive in, and you're like, oh, guys, but we're trying to work here, which is the apartheid government. I'd be like, I'd make sure I put in leaders that will not really, or even if they try, it's going to be hard for them to kind of like take back the wealth, because it's essentially...
So you set up...
It essentially is a setup, because look, we're one of the last countries in Africa to get independence, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not a history buff.
Me too.
But with me saying that, everybody would have seen what happens when you leave and start a war. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for the population. It's not good for your money chain, because you people lose infrastructure when that shit happens. When you get the people so angry that they burn your shit, you lose infrastructure. Now you can't make money. So if I'm on the negotiating table and I've seen it happen over the last 100 years of people getting independence, fucking up money, I'm like, no, okay, we can't fuck up South Africa, because they really like South Africa. They like. I think, I don't know where I heard this, but it made me think. It's like, the colonizers really like South Africa. Like, no, this is our... But not South Africa. Come on, we have to save South Africa. And, I was at an... Like I said, I was at an Airbnb earlier, and the lady had... I was speaking, she's from the UK, and her husband's is also from the UK, and she's like, we finally come here. I was like, oh, so this is your retirement plan. So you can see the love even the normal citizens have for South Africa.
Yeah.
It's a place to come retire.
Country. Yeah.
So...
It's a lovely country. We don't have to experience what Americans are ever experiencing with a cyclone and all that shit, We hardly ever get
the weather is beautiful.
Things.
If you like cold weather, we've got places with the best cold weather. If you like hot weather, we've got places with the best hot weather.
So there's a lot. Also the scenery, you know what I mean? Like we've got the mountains and what's not, So
just driving in KZN.
Yeah,
it's
so
fucking beautiful.
It's a beautiful country. We just need to handle it in a proper way. That's all we need to do, because there's a lot of I think investment I think other countries can put, like South Africa, if only the country is well managed. But yeah, man, I think, I don't know, I think we can try and do more. I don't really know what, because I'm not even in that space. I don't have the ideas that can change the way a country, whatever the case is. But I know what we can do more. And also,
I do.
What?
I don't know. We just basically we need. You see, so South Africans, we lack organization. There's not and we don't listen to the educated. So there's a divide between the educated and the uneducated, and thus they can't help each other. So because they're not listening to each other, because they essentially kind of hate each other. There's no communication barrier between the educated and the educated. They called us clever blacks. I'm like, okay, now you're not listening to me, because you. That's the problem with putting with symbols and images and. Not understanding stereotypes. Stereotypes are a guide, but they're not a guide for human to human interaction. They're a guide for group to group. Yeah, but once you get to human, that all falls away. So stereotypes are true, but only at a certain layer. Once you get to a deeper layer of relationship, yes, the stereotype might pop up every now and again. But we're dealing at a human to human level.
Exactly.
So if I don't know. There's a lot of layers to it, and again, I can go to if we can teach people to goodbye tand by understanding how they can help themselves, be better people. That a lot of problems solve themselves, because then everybody approaches every situation differently. So zitande, and things around you will change.
No,
I started getting haircuts and change. Love yourself.
No, I'm with you on that. But yo, man, it's just hard, especially
It
if
really is hard.
it's hard,
It's
especially
hard.
if you're gonna come from a situation where there's just a lot to deal with, you know.
I think people don't have the language. You see, because that's the thing. Uh, I've always thought of this thing, and like it's back to crypto. It's like I'd call it Operation Heartbeat. It's like okay, now that I know I'm alive and I know I'm in a shitty situation, what do I do to get out of my shitty situation? Because there's a guide to get out of any situation, and it has to just be put in a way so that, like, imagine being like a South African and you just wake up in some random country, but you keep seeing the South African flag, and that would be the symbol for hey, you're down and out. Here's what you need to do: get money.
Yeah.
Here's how to get
yeah.
money. And here's the basis of money, and here's how money works. Once you understand it at that root level, even if you get a job sweeping floors, you'll be able to elevate yourself to the next level. Okay, I don't like sweeping floors. I want to do that guy's job. What is that? So you see how, just by giving somebody tools to wake up, when they wake up, you give them the next set of tools, and then they wake up, and then, now you're rich.
Yeah.
Now you're rich. Don't go out and buy all these. You really can't afford it. You can't afford a GTI. Just because you can pay for it monthly, you have to now explain affordability to them. It's like, okay, get a GTI maybe when you can think you afford a Ferrari. Then and then
Totally.
when you think you can afford a Ferrari, then so it's kind of like, how do you teach people? Because the adverts are not your friends. The media industry, in as much as it can help you, it can also take so much from you.
Yeah, no, it's a business game. They're all about advertising, and also, they're all about that at the end of the day. So you need to be mature enough to understand now what yippee trap to fall into and what not to fall into. Because what
bruh.
also it's I think sometimes as an agent you just need to analyze them yourself. We need to do a lot of that. Because what's a lot of people when they get employment, maybe you are not
They
working.
get trapped.
Yeah, you get trapped. No, man, do you know how many people are in debt? Because
I always say South Africans are nearly 150% in debt of their annual salary. That's they own their annual 150% of their annual salary in debt. The average South African. That's a crazy stat.
Because they fell for the trap. You got a job and then you're told it's okay, go now rent a flat there, go buy that car, go get a credit card and what's not,
Lifestyle.
And also you're like, okay, cool, well, I get paid at the end of the month, I can afford all these things and what's not, and then
Until you get left with 1,000 rand a month.
every month before groceries, and then you're like, oh, flip. Okay, so what do I do now? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then it took me a long time to even buy a car. And I bought a cheap one that I can afford. You know what I mean?
What made you finally buy a car? Did you get over taxis?
Huh?
Did you get over taxis? What made you finally like, I need a car? I need a fucking
I just felt like I'm in a good space to finally get one. I was like, I think I'm in a good space to get one. I'm not if Koguti banenkinga because imoto can cost a lot,
You see my car.
Imoto is costless like a baby. I don't have a baby, but I know what's it cost.
Yeah.
So
Well, why don't you have a baby? You're so old.
I am old, but
joking, I'm
no, but I am. But also, you want to bring. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an overthinker. I want to bring a child. I don't want to bring a child in a space like
A hostile.
a hostile. Also, the world is just even crazy. It's a flipping crazy world.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. I'm like, hey, do you want to bring a child in this environment? This kind of people? Have you seen what's about to banenhliziyo ebheda kanjani and what's not? Do you want to bring umuntu to that environment? But also, I guess if you are in a good position, maybe I'm not saying one will be in a position where it's like, no, I'm all good now, I'm all set, I'm ready to have this. I don't know if you ever get to that position.
Yeah. That's you see that is essentially the lie that we tell ourselves, that there'll come a time when
Yes.
when nothing is
When
a problem.
everything is fine, so now I can bring a child.
Yeah.
So I don't know if if there's ever
I think
into
that
but
knowing when to buy a car, you'll know when to have a baby.
yeah,
It's
but
that
if
thing.
I'm like, okay, cool, I'm not there, but I'm a bit comfortable now to do so, I won't bring a child and still take a taxi with them. Mhlambe phuma uma wakho uphuma go labor and then they have to take a taxi going home. Now I'm like, I don't want that environment. I don't want that. I want to, at least if I can afford the basic stuff and I
Yeah.
know what I'm cool affording those, whether it's at home.
Well, having a
car,
baby is a
medical
totally
aid.
ego thing. It's like a gigantic ego thing. Like no, there's absolutely no reason for you to have a baby if not to carry on your genetic information. This, which is like a self-preservation thing. It's putting yourself in the cloud. That's what having a baby is. It's
Yeah, I guess
because you look like your grandfather from the fifth one removed from you. You look exactly like him right now. Down to Intumba. I'm sure one of them had Intumba hair, what type of thing. It's like that's
Sure.
that's self-preservation
Yeah.
in motion through time.
Yeah.
Because you have to shed the body, but the vibration comes back as a child. Because you're probably, maybe it wasn't radio, but maybe Umkulwaka long ago used to like be the guy who was in charge of shouting out to everybody. "Burp, burp, 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 sesibukele namhlanje, umadlamini." Yabo, so it's like, it's in our genes. It's in our genes.
So I guess I'm in that position where I'm like, isn't anything I want to analyze them, but I think my biggest issue also is overthinking a lot of things.
Well,
I
that's
think
bad for you.
it's bad. I think at some point I should just
I used to be
go
like
with the
you,
flow.
so I'm like, I'm laughing at you now. Like
Hey,
life
look,
is
I'm not
peaceful.
complaining. I'm not complaining.
No, you can fix it. Life is better without overthinking.
Yeah, I get that, but also you do have to, because there's a lot of people who just don't think. That's a problem.
No, but see, thinking, right?
And there's
thinking is.
fewer people who can balance the two.
I was getting to that. It's like thinking is thinking, which is essentially
Yeah.
intellect. Djibouti people don't think. I bet they're not smart. They're not intellectual. They don't use their intellect. Is what you're saying, right? But intellect is a sword, and you can't solve all problems with swords, essentially. Which is what overthinking is you trying to solve every single problem with the sword.
Well, I get you.
So
Yeah,
sometimes you gotta put your sword away and not think.
Sometimes.
And just relax. No, actually, a few times a day. because you know what it is? When you think, you do things you're not supposed to do. When you overthink, you do things you're not supposed to do.
And you shy away from a lot of things also because
you're busy doing things you're not supposed to do. Yeah, well, so that's the problem with overthinking. I hope you get to the point where you stop overthinking.
I hope so, but
you have
I hope
to try
I don't.
though,
Yeah.
to meditate.
Yeah.
When was the last time you meditated?
I haven't.
You haven't meditated.
Yeah.
You must meditate. You must start meditating. Go to Headspace. It's an app on your fancy iPhone.
Sometimes I can be too black.
No, I understand that, but that's okay. Back to intellect. The problem with intellect is that intellect is based on the past. Do you agree, right? All knowledge
Yes,
has to be acquired through
100%,
experience, so
yeah.
it's based on the
History,
past. So
yeah.
even you saying that I'm black is a notion of the past. It's a way you've stopped yourself from developing before. So don't notice when people say stuff to you and you say I'm black. It's just the way your personality.
No, I get that. I totally get that. But
Yeah.
also, there's just some things which maybe it's actually that. Maybe Yonkind obviously aligns or goes back to the very same thing. It's overthinking. Because I'll be like, that thing cannot work with me. And I guess it's because I'm probably like a bit too stubborn. Or, and now I'm overthinking a lot of
overthinking
things. You know what I mean?
or you're overthinking the thing that the thing that happens 99% that happens 1% of the time that you think is going to happen in your 99%.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's essentially that's the problem with overthinking. It's like sometimes you just got to be stupid and do.
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, most times actually, it's because you're not in control.
Well, you are if you think.
No, not
to a
necessarily.
certain extent.
If you think well enough, if you think without looking at the past and think while, in fact, if you don't think, you realize that thinking is slowing you down.
It is. It does. But also, it does.
Because as we speak right now,
It does,
you
yeah.
have to think about how I can paint an image in your mind and in my mind that you see in my mind and then deliver it into your mind. So that is the
process,
the
yeah.
limitation
Yeah.
of thoughts.
Yeah.
So if there's things that happen, when I throw a ball with you and you catch it, do you
Yeah.
think about that?
Yeah, you do actually.
You don't. You actually, no. There's no. You catch it instantly without thinking, because thinking is like, oh, the ball is coming to me. I should. That's thinking. That's thinking, right? Yeah, well, so anyway, before we get carried away and all crazy, RadioDR.co.za, deeply rooted world. That's where you can catch all of our podcasts and all of our fun things that we make. I went to the Midlands. There's a video I'm going to play after this episode. Check it out. It's amazing. And yeah, so thank you for coming out.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope we do this again next time.
I told you before the podcast, this is now an official thing, and I say this all the time, and none of my guests ever return, but I have a feeling you're going to return, so because you hang out with nobody, and you're going to get bored and come hang out with me again.
Yeah, that's essentially it. But yeah, also, because, I think I'm also getting to a space where I'm just like, it's okay, cool. One has been in this journey also, maybe just a radio journey or just in life as a whole. You meet a lot of people.
Do you have your own podcast? You said you have a setup at home. You have your own podcast?
I don't.
Oh my gosh, don't be a loser. You need a podcast.
No, I'm an overthinker, and I think, what do I need a podcast? Because there's just a lot of podcasts out there.
You do
so
need a
now,
podcast. You've got a brilliant black mind.
So now I'm like,
if
now
you've got a voice, you got to
add into
project
that.
it. Shout out 504.
So that's my problem again. So overthinking. It's okay. Now you want to bring a podcast
I'm inviting
again,
you
and
in a
there's
public
other
platform
podcasts
to come onto
and
podcasts more
whatever.
regularly. Until you find your feet, you're welcome here anytime. So
I know for sure. We can do this again, and then obviously
at
I
least
think
once a
that's-
month. Let's do it on camera. Once a month, we shake on it. We can try once a month. And
That's a huge commitment.
I mean, okay, man.
That's
gosh.
That's
Oh
a
my
huge
gosh.
commitment, and
It's
I don't.
once a month.
Yeah, it's a commitment.
Can I bug you once a month at least for content?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. That's
course.
it's a start.
It's a start, and then we can
convince
see. Well, the thing is, I'm just running away from committing myself. Because once I
Are you in a
commit, then I'm gonna have
relationship?
to learn those.
I had no relationship.
I am. I
How
am.
did you get into that commitment?
It took a while.
How long you been dating?
Yeah, I'm gonna skip that.
Mem akafuna ukukhuluma ngezinto zakho mem. Ngiyazokubukela mem. All right, guys, we out. Thank you so much, Mr. Sibongiseni Mkhize,
Showcase.
a content producer from Kakasi FM, a little boy from
Small township, la.
small township, Diamond Hill. Sibonge boy. Thank you so much for coming through, sir.
Salute. Showcase.
That's like, sharp.